Welcome back. In the last session, we discussed about code to data with SAP HANA as a secondary database. So we discussed about how to optimize a web application using SAP HANA as a secondary database, ADBC, ABAP database connectivity, how to consume native SQL in ABAP, difference between OpenSQL and native SQL syntax. Uh, Today we will discuss about HANA artifacts. So we will analyze and find some views in SAP HANA Studio, and we will distinguish different types of SAP HANA views. So, so coming to approach, so bottom-up approach as SAP ABAP 7.40. So you can have your database views, whether it is a SAP HANA view or whether it is a attribute view, analytical view, calculation view. These views which you create in HANA Studio can be exposed as in ABAP through external view. So in SAP HANA, you will create database view uh, or any other HANA specific view you will create in HANA Studio. So it can be exposed as external view as ABAP. So this is bottom-up approach. So here both ABAP and HANA servers involves in developing and managing and calling HANA views in ABAP. HANA view deployed in HANA Studio. External view will be created in ABAP development tools. In ADT, which version is above ABAP 7.4 and above, you can be able to see external view can be created in ABAP. So HANA transport container and delivery unit is required to transport from one system, from HANA system to ABAP system and vice versa. So delivery unit I have shown you in unit 1 introduction to HANA Studio session. I have shown you how to create a delivery unit and how to add a package to delivery unit, and how to how you will transport your package contained HANA artifacts to within a delivery unit to one system to other system. So here it is bottom up approach. You will be creating a view in HANA Studio, and will expose them as a expose the view as a external view in a BAP. So you can consume the same using OpenSQL in a BAP. So coming to search functions in HANA Studio, they are uh, 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 it's a bit recap to the introduction to HANA Studio session. So how you can search a view, how you can search a HANA artifact in HANA Studio, I will be showing you in the system. So I have connected to HANA system. So HANA Studio, my HDB system from the remote desktop with by giving the host name and the credentials. So today we will see in the system different approaches to move data intensive calculations into SAP HANA database, mainly uh, in the form of creating HANA specific views, attribute, analytical, and calculation views. And you will be able to search views in SAP HANA Studio. So you analyze the definition of HANA views as well. So you can analyze the definition of HANA views as well, and you can describe different types of views. I will be showing you HANA specific views and testing the views with data preview. So these things I will be going to show you in the HANA Studio today. So bottom-up approach, which is possible ABAP in ABAP less than 7.4. So you'll be creating your HANA views in HANA Studio and exposing in them as external view in ABAP. So coming to search functions for SAP HANA view, so you'll be having a search bar here. So to search any HANA artifact, you can search here. So it's a recap I have shown you in introduction to HANA Studio. So at underscore suppose if I want to search any attribute view. So attribute view naming convention for SAP HANA is AT. So I'm clicking on OK. So enter. So as soon as when I click on OK, it will search for all the attribute views. So I can click any of the attribute view and I can open that attribute view as well. So this is one of the attribute view. So if I wanted to search any database table, suppose some sbook, so I will be giving a sbook table and click on enter. It will search for the sbook. So if you see tables, so these are the tables associated with sbook. So with the user, HANA ABAP system connected. So I'm just opening the table as book. So there is other way to find as well. uh, you can see this search, which tab is called global search. If you wanted to search a local search, suppose catalog is used for only tables, so content in a folder, content folder, if you wanted to search any, suppose calculation view, so you will give ca underscore and click on enter. So you will be seeing calculation views, all the calculation views here. So so if you see, this is one of the calculation view. So this is called local search content. Even you can have open definition and data preview as well. So if I open any attribute view, if I open any attribute view, so I'll be opening any attribute view. So this is attribute view. So I can have execution as well, save and activate. And yes, so if I want to have a data preview, so I will be opening the content. So ATBP. So this is ATBP. So I have to right click the attribute view and see a data preview. So this is a data preview of uh, I can see any data preview of any view by right clicking on the corresponding definition. So HANA views are of three types: attribute views, analytical views, calculation views. So these views, attribute view is used to join tables, example text tables, data tables. You can join one or two tables and form a data model, and you can use a projection to subset of fields. So you can have a sub projection as well after joining the tables. You can contain filters. So attribute views will contain filters. They also have columns with simple calculations. So it is attribute view uses you can use these attribute views in in other analytical views and calculation views as well. So basically attribute view uses it is a basically um, if we come to view is nothing but joining one or two tables. So the attribute view functionality is also joins two tables, whether it is mainly master data tables and text tables. So and you can have a projection on your fields of your joined tables. Additionally, what you can have was for the attribute view, you can have contain filters, and you have columns with simple calculations. You can do simple calculations as well for your columns, like currency and quantity calculations, and maybe use this the attribute view can be used in analytical views and calculations views as a subset. So coming to analytical view is used to join tables, same. So it actually it joins fact tables with attribute views. So you can use attribute views, normal views, any views in the analytical views. So data foundation in the data foundation. So which I will be showing you in the system within some time. So data is read from joined database tables. So joins and calculated measures are evaluated at runtime. You can have measures at runtime using analytical views. So it contain calculations as well. So currency conversions, these things you can do in analytical views for particular fields. So you can have calculated column as well. So column with will have you can have expression, you can have currency conversion as well in analytical view, which I will be showing you in the system by creating a sample example. So calculation views. Coming to calculation view, this is third type of HANA specific view. It is a there are two ways you can create two ways you can create calculation views. So you can create by graphical or script based approach. So basically you can have graphically, you step by step you can drag and drop to form a join conditions. So it is designed for analysis. Basically calculation views are mainly for analysis. So functions defined in HANA specific language, mainly SQL script. So it contains other functions as well. It contains calculated columns, filters. So you can build a calculated view using SQL script and using graphical representation as well. So I'll go into the system and I will show you where you can have one some of the attribute view definition, analytical view definition, calculation view definition. So if I go to any of the attribute view in a definition, so um, here if I go to this attribute view in the scenario of creating attribute view, we will be having two things: data foundation and semantics. So data foundation is basically used to join the tables. You can drag two or three tables and form a data foundation. And semantics is used for having a measures and attributes for your fields. So how to create attribute view? I already told you, if you wanted to create any in HANA specific views, you will be creating in the content folder. All the HANA specific views and data stored procedures you will create in content folder. So I'll right click. You can choose any a package which you wanted to create your attribute view. So I'll be creating here, selecting my package ABAP HANA, which I have created previously. I'm just creating a new right click and creating a new attribute view. So you can create a package as well before. So name of my attribute view. So naming convention is 80. So 80 underscore example one. So this is first example which I'm creating for the attribute view. So it is allowed only example. So I'm giving only example. So and then if you see the package name and the view type is attribute view, so you can say, and subtype, if you see subtypes, it is standard, time or derived. Okay, I'm clicking on finish. So so as soon as when I click on this, I'll get in the scenario tab, I will get different tabs. So if you see in the scenario tab, if I zoom it for you, so I will get semantics and data foundation. Data foundation, when I click select the data foundation and right click, I will be able to add the objects as well. So when I click on add objects, it will open you find which objects to add. Suppose if I wanted to add S book or S flight, suppose if I wanted to add a S flight, so I can select S flight. So this is a system, SAP ABAP 1 is the system. So I have added S flight. So if I wanted one more table to be added, so I can add one more table as well. So I'll select add objects. So I'll add now S book now. So I'll select S book now. So I had now S flight and S book. So now I can have a join condition as well. So how I will join was the mandate carrier ID. So carrier ID to carrier ID. I'll select con ID to con ID. Just control Z. I'll just drop it. You can drag your referential joins. So carrier ID to carrier ID, and then con ID to, sorry, you can have con ID to referential joins. I'm just trying for the referential joins here. So you can drag your joins. So you can form a join conditions. So if you select this join condition, you will be able to get the join type referential join. If you wanted to have inner join, or if you wanted to have left outer join, so you can have inner join also, referential join as well. So for the fields, so I can have one to n relationship or cardinality you can specify, and click on OK. So that is how you joined the cardinality. So now can have flight date with another flight date. So if you wanted to have another flight date with another flight date, you can have as well, that as well. Flight date, flight date, you can have one more join. So if you wanted to have con ID, con ID, had con ID with con ID, suppose. So two joins I made. Suppose here I made two joins. If I give again for this also, if I wanted to make a join, I have to double click on the join condition. So it is inner join 1 and n. So and click on OK. So I formed a join condition now. So I wanted to add. So first one was in the data foundation scenario. In the scenario tab, you will be adding the tables which you wanted to. You can drag and drop as well. If you wanted to have one more table, you can drag as well from your existing from the systems tab and the pack contents folder. You can drag as well. This here I formed a join conditions between the fields. Now I want to add the output fields. If you see, I wanted to add the columns. If I select, suppose if I wanted to have career ID, so if you wanted to have a con ID and flight date, so and price, currency, and plane type from this, and I wanted to have booking ID, customer ID, custom type, and some fields. So if I have currency and for currency key and I can add them as well. So reserved or not reserved or cancelled also I can have. So these things I can have. If I wanted to have filter condition as well, I can apply a filter as well. So if you see a right click, I can add to output. I can have I can create a join as well. So I can create apply a filter as well. So for cancelled, if I wanted to have a filter, suppose, so I can have a filter as well. So I filter based on the only currency. Suppose if I wanted to have a currency filter currency for currency saying I wanted to have a currency with only USD, suppose. So I need only USD, suppose, and click on OK. That means that filter was applied. If you see here, the filter for currency key, the properties for this currency will be currency properties for this will be equal to USD. So I gave filter condition to this for a currency key. So default I gave it as a USD. So when I execute this attribute view, I will be getting um, only USD values. So I can click on save as well. Save. So if I wanted to have calculated column, suppose, so one of the column to be calculated. So calculated columns also I can have, so which I will be showing you in the analytical view. So to how to create a calculated column. So you can so when you create a calculated column, you will be having how to calculate. Suppose if I wanted to calculate an expression saying I wanted to get a, unit, suppose invoice. So this one I wanted to have a calculated column here. So invoice I wanted to have. So I'll select calculated column, click on new. So name of my calculated column was jet calculated example. I'm giving one meaning field description. So I need to give label, and I wanted to give length as well. So I'm giving length as decimal, and with 16 length and two decimals. So if I have an expression, so I need to select one of the expression. So what I will do was here I'll select currency. I'll select so this field. So what so this field is an expression. So what I will do was into I can have three. So if I have into operators, if I wanted to have one operator saying into, so I can have into saying three. So click on OK. So I have a calculated column here. If you see, calculated column was into three. So if I can do a formula. I have made a formula saying that. So in these properties, I can see my field was displayed into four. So now I'm saving it again. So so what I have done was I created an attribute view from my folder. So now I formed a data foundation. In the semantics as well, I can give which one is an attribute, which one is a type. So I can give, so whether it is so if you see in semantics of this, everything is an attribute. So there is no measure here. So only attributes here. So it will give whether it is an attribute or a measure, semantic type. So data foundation again. So now what I will be do was I will first step of attribute view was I made a data foundation with corresponding tables. I formed a second step was I made a join. So third was I applied a filter. So third was step was I added output fields. The fourth step was I added a filter as well, filter to this any of the fields, and I added a calculated column as a fifth step. So if you see, this is a calculated column. So I'm canceling it. So now what I will do was I will save and activate. I saved it. So now example. So now I'm just activating it. As soon as when I activate, it is showing me activated with error. So if I see the error, I will be able to see error example, no attribute has been specified as a key. So I didn't specify anything as a key. So I need to specify it as a key. So I will specify it. So I got an error saying no central table found, no attribute has been specified as a key. So what I will be doing was I'll go to semantics. So I need to specify some keys here. So carrier ID, con ID, flight date. I'll keep it as a key and save it. So now I saved it. Now I will activate it. So it is activated successfully now. If you see in the log, activated successfully. Now I can have a data preview. So this is my data preview. So when you do a data preview can be done in three ways. One is graphical view with aggregation columns, graphical view based on, sorry. Three ways. One is raw data, one other one is distinct values, third one was analysis. So when you test with raw data, it gives uh, table display number, it will gives number of distinct values per column. It can give raw data, can be displayed with button here. So if you see all carrier ID, con ID, flight date, if you see here, my currency was converted into 3, I got only USD. You see, there is my execution has only USD. I'm closing it. If I wanted to have distinct values, suppose, so raw data can be displayed in the data preview. There is a button called raw data, so there you can display it. So my calculated column is also came. So if you see, if I go to calculated column, so currency conversion is my currency conversion for for 4 column, it got into 3. So I'm going into distinct values. If I wanted to get the distinct values of, suppose, for currency, suppose, so I have two distinct values. One is USD, one was DEM. So this is the distinct values which I got. So if I wanted to get for distinct values for current, if you see here, there are many distinct values here. So if I give for invoice, so I got count was 32 for X. So if I give smoker, so who are the smokers? 33 smokers I have. So customer IDs, so count. So how many customer IDs I have? So plain type, see DC, with plain type DC, I have 32. With plain type this one, I have one count. So if I give price, so based on the price, also I can give. So with 32 count, I have this much price. With this much value, I have only one. So this is how you can do the distinct values, raw data, distinct values. You can do analysis as well. So if I wanted to do some analysis based on the flight date as a label, I have given is here axis. So price. So what I have done, so in this date, the price was this. In this date, the price was high. So this analysis I can do using analysis tab. So if I go to table, so I will be getting the price count for this date and this date. So if I go to grid, I can see HTML, I can see. If I go to chart, I can see different graphical representation, like based on the flight date and price. So how the flight date is going in different in line chart, horizontal bar. So it's in a pie chart. I can go in a scatter chart. In a different way, I can display my analysis on my data of my attribute view. So this is a nice way. Data preview is a very nice way uh, um, to analyze your data. So raw data will display table display. It's a flat, and in the distinct values you can see how many distinct values you have for a particular column. And in the graphical analysis, you can see you can have measures. So you can have two or three measures as well. So for the customer ID, suppose if I give customer ID, so I will get based on the price and count, price count and customer IDs and y-axis, and the date. I can have a analysis on my data in different chart, in a table, in a grid, and in a HTML view. So this is a very nice way to have visualize your data in HANA using HANA specific views. So the modeling and the HANA modeling is how you model your attribute analytical calculation views is nothing but your HANA modeling. How you implement them and how you visualize them comes under HANA modeling. So coming to analytical views, so attribute views we see here, to create an attribute view you should have data foundation and semantics. So steps was, I am just recapping what are the steps in attribute views. So first step will be data foundation, we will add the tables. Second step will be uh, having a join between your two tables condition, and third step will be your output values, selecting the adding your fields to the output from the two tables. And fourth step, you can have a filter as well, filter condition as well. So you can have filter, apply filter based on any field. So you can have a calculated column as well. So for your analytical view, you can have a calculated column for your analytical view, and then you can have a expression calculations, and you can save and activate, and you can visualize the data. So analytical views. So now I will be creating an analytical view. So I'm creating a new. So analytical view naming convention was an underscore sample. I'm creating a sample analytical view. So here I'm just clicking on finish. So as soon as when I click on finish, so I got a scenario here to how to implement my analytical view, how to model my analytical view. First one was data foundation, same as an attribute view. So in this data foundation as well, I will be clicking add objects. So when I click on add objects, so I can have any of the objects. So I can have my uh, existing attribute view as well. So I can have attribute view which I have previously created. So at underscore example. So I'm just trying to at underscore ex. I'm just canceling it. I will drag this so that I will be able to get this. So I'm adding the objects. So now, as of now, I will add a S book as custom. I will add as custom is a table from this system. I'm clicking on OK. So data foundation is same. So as custom, I'll add as custom, and then I'll add one more table called S book. So right click in the data foundation, add objects. So I'll be adding S book now. So here I'll be adding S book now. Now I will add um, corresponding join conditions. Join conditions I can add from ID. So ID will be, I'll add some join conditions from as custom to. So I'll do the ID to, I'll add from this join condition to, I'll add to customer ID. So, so I'm having a referential condition from as custom to. So I added a as custom ID to S book, S book customer S book booking ID I give. So I will just change it to customer ID. So I'm just adding from ID to customer ID. And next one, I can add one more. I can have a, join condition here. So I double click here. So referential join, I can have inner join and left outer join, right outer join, text join, anything I can have. So again, I'm giving here inner join, and I'm giving cardinality and clicking on OK. So and next step would be I have to add the fields. So ID, name, and then I'll add postcode, and I'll add language, I can city, and then country. Here from this also I will add some of the fields like order date, and then I'll add fields like for quorum, for currency. So these are the some of the attribute I added to my output fields. Um, I added them to columns. Now I can have input parameters as well to my view. So if I give input parameters, I can have input parameters one new. So I can have input parameter saying I can select one of the value as input parameter so that based on the input parameter only my attribute view will be triggered. So this is I can have any filter as well. So if I have currency, I'm having a apply filter where I'll be giving you USD. So okay, so I applied a filter as well. So I'm just selecting it. So I gave equal to filter. If you see and double click it, you can see in the properties tab I can see it is equal to filter. So next step would be in the scenario in the semantics tab. In the semantics tab, I can give keys and attributes. So if I give there, I can give attributes and measures as well. So if I can give one of them as measure. So suppose if you see I'm measuring amount field. So this is my amount field, and I'm just adding it as a measure, and then all the other things as attributes. So you can differentiate which field is an attribute, which field is an measures here. So analytical view additional feature from the attribute view, as attribute view is having only attributes, and in the analytical views will have attribute both measures and attributes. So you can differentiate which fields are attributes and which fields are measures. So I'm just making it attributes and measures. So I'm just making all the fields here. Just giving attributes. Attributes. I can specify keys as well. So I'll specify key as ID. Customer ID is a key. So this is how I made my redefined my aggregation I can give. So if I see I have given sum, so I can give sum as an aggregation or any other aggregation you can give here. So aggregation type. Now as soon as when I click on semantics, I will be getting these to define which has attributes and which has I can hide one value in the runtime after one field from the output as well. So if I go to star join, so I can give restricted columns and I can give calculated columns. I can give input parameters as well for my uh, analytical view. So if I wanted to give calculated column, so I'll be creating a new calculated column, say a name. So I can give currency conversion. So I'll give column, let column underscore cal c. So I'm calculated one column, calculating. So I'll be giving one decimal. So length I'll be giving some around 15 and 2. So scale of 2. So scale of 2. And I will give some expression here. To give expression, I have to select the column in which I wanted to perform calculations. So I'll be selecting, since this is my measure, I'm selecting this, and then I can have one if I go to semantics, so I can select semantic type as well. So amount with if I wanted to change it to amount with currencies, so I can select amount with currencies. I can give currency in the currency tab. I can select the field. The field will be, so I can select the field as so in the, at a time uh, uh, I'm doing for currency for both currency conversion, and same way I'm having expression as well. So here I'm just selecting a currency key. So I selected a currency key here, amount with currency code. So amount with I selected amount with a currency, and I'm choosing enable for conversion. I'm just selecting this semantics expression and semantics and clicking on OK. So clicking on OK. So that is how I selected a calculated column here. I'm just saving my view. So now I will save and activate my analytical view. So how to activate? First I have this. I can right click in the same preview way. I can activate my view. You see it is activated successfully. Now I will be able to preview. You can do data preview as well. If I go to raw data, so it is displayed with the data. All the data, if you see, all the USDs was displayed with currency, order date, country, postal code. A calculation was performed here. So all the calculations was performed with for Karam. So all the calculations was performed. If you see, this is the original, and this is the original USD. So this is coming as USD. If you see, um, uh, for uh, for uh, uh, for for Kuram field, if you see, I appended USD field as a calculated column here. So I can see, I can select as well. So this is how you can do. You can have a append. You can have a dynamic fields you can add to the other field as well. So if you see, I added a USD for every field of here. I have a USD here. So this type of things you can do here. And distinct analysis you can do with the language. Suppose so many languages was there. So language was 33, count was 33. So postal code, so many postal codes were there. So if you see, blank was 32. So value, with value 123 there are 3. So with the postal code, this one we have 1. So I can do analysis as well. So analysis for city. So first are customer ID. I'm giving the customer ID and city. So if you see here, for each customer ID, what are the city count? So you can give the city count in a table view, in a grid view, in HTML view, in the chart view. You can display in the pie chart as well. So this is how you visualize the data of your analytical view. So this is how you create your analytical view. Now what I will do is I will create a calculation view. So new, I'm creating a calculation view. See calculation view with example. So this is the third view which I'm creating. So calculation view. So I'm just clicking on cancel. I need to create on the package here. So new calculation view. So while creating a calculation view, I'm giving a CA is your naming convention for creating a calculation view. So sample. So I named it. So I given a standard subtype. I can give standard calculation view. You can select whether it is a graphical calculation view or SQL script calculation view. As of now, I'm selecting graphical calculation view with dimensions. Data category also you can give for your calculation view, whether it is a dimension calculation, whether it is a cube calculations. So I'll give dimension calculations here. So here, when you define a calculation view, you can use any of the attribute view and any of the analytical view in your calculations view. So, so I will be clicking on finish. So now I'll have two things. I can project and they do semantics. So while projecting, I can project my existing analytical view. So I'm just dragging and dropping to the projection. So if you see, this is projected. So I can add a calculated columns as well. So for this, I can add I can add all the columns. So output column, suppose all the columns will be ID, name, postal code, language, city, country, order date, currency. So these things I added. So now just adding it. So now I will go to semantics. So I can have, so if you see all the attributes were there, so I can give key as well here. So I'm just saving it. So now I can, I'm just, it is a simple calculation view which I'm doing here. So I'm just activating it. Just activating it. So activated successfully. I'm doing a data preview now. Data preview and the raw data. If you see, I'm exposed. I am using analytical view here. So in the calculation view, and I'm just doing some manipulations here. So if I go to my again my projection view, I can select one more. Suppose if I wanted to select existing attribute view to this, I can select that as well. So I'm just dragging and trying to drop it. So, so if you wanted to have any other analytical views, any calculation views, that also can be dragged and you can form a union conditions as well here. So this is how HANA specific views you can create from the HANA Studio. So HANA specific views like analytical calculation and attribute views are used mainly for moving your data intensive logic into database layer. That means that to have your complex data modeling and implementation, you can do using this HANA specific views. So now I'll move on to the next slides. So how to consume HANA views via native SQL. So next concept was how to consume your HANA views via native SQL. So these things, how to consume HANA views via native SQL and how to write and execute data procedures in HANA Studio, I'll be showing you in the next session. Thank you.